It doesn't take much. A friend who won't take no for an answer, temptation within arm's reach, or just being in a YOLO kind of mood, our good intentions are quickly hijacked by a very sneaky phrase. Fine, just this one time. And before you know it, it's already been one time too many. How to conquer this mentality in a realistic way where you strike a balance between giving in, guilt-free, but also not setting yourself back too much. All coming up in this episode. For every time we have sworn that we were never going to do that thing again, whether it's binge watching a show till the wee hours in the morning, giving into snacks yet again because they're there, or having one too many drinks with our friends, we have done the complete opposite just as many times and then felt really guilty and bad about it. Why did I do that? Is usually what we ask ourselves after, but in the moments we justify it to ourselves. Maybe you're telling yourself, well, I've been really good lately and this is like my break, this is my treat. Or maybe it's a special occasion, like, what, am I not gonna give in this time, it's special. Or maybe you're thinking like, well, in the big grand scheme of things, like if I don't do it this one time, really, is it gonna affect me that much? Or maybe you just don't wanna be that person where like maybe you're trying some changes and like nobody else, is doing it, and now you're gonna be difficult. So you're like, fine, I'll just do what everybody else is doing. Truthfully, all of these are really great reasons why you should give in, because at the end of the day, it is impossible to expect that we were going to be walking the fine line every single day, that we're going to be perfect, and that we will never, ever, ever again give in to the thing that we kind of have a vice for. So what winds up happening though is that when we have given a word to ourselves that we're not going to be doing certain things, and then we kind of hijack our own decisions and we break our word to ourselves, we actually betray ourselves a little bit. And even though it feels maybe good in the moment, we have this kind of guilty conversation afterwards where you kind of like, why did I do that? Like, who am I? I can't even trust myself anymore. You start feeling bad about it. You could feel like you're a failure, or like, that you're just not doing the thing that you said that you're gonna do. And this is the reason why we wind up giving in again and again, because now you're like, well, may as well continue on. What was the point? Or, obviously I can't do it. Here I am doing the same thing again. And this is the reason why we want to kind of get a hold of situations like this so that we don't wind up being in this place afterwards where in the moment it seemed like a great idea, but afterward you wind up feeling like it just kind of wasn't really worth it. On one hand, we know that perfection is not attainable. As I said, the idea that you're never going to have treats again or that you're never going to be distracted by a show is pretty crazy. Although admirable, and I've done it myself, at some point or another you're going to fail. So we do need to be realistic and give ourselves some kind of space to give in once in a while and fail and break our own rules. However, we also have proven to ourselves time and time again that we do not do well in thinking on the spot and rising to the occasion and just making that good decision at the time of the temptation. So instead of dreading situations like this, which I know I've been there, where you're like, oh, everything's good, and now I have to have the social outing, and then, everything's gonna get derailed. How do we figure out a space where we can give in, knowing a situation might come up, but do it in a way where we don't feel bad about it and it doesn't affect us after that? What we need to do is make an exception to the rule. So my suggestion is for you to create the criteria that qualifies you breaking your own rules. And by doing this, we are eliminating that space where we have to make decisions. Because in the moment, a lot of things will seem like a really great idea. In the moment, you're like, it's totally worth it. When maybe afterwards, you're gonna feel a little bit differently about it. So by sitting down ahead of time, we're doing planning instead of damage control over in the situation. By thinking in a clear mind without the temptation in front of us, you can decide whatever you want can qualify as your criteria. So it could be, things like, oh, well, on the weekend, I will give myself the space to do this, but on the weekdays, I'm not going to do it. Maybe on special occasions, I will do X and not feel bad about it, but unless that's the situation, I'm not going to do it. So it can be as strict as you want. I would suggest not to make it too strict, but it can be as strict as you want or as loosey-goosey as you want, as long as you have decided ahead of time what qualifies. And the reason that this works really great is because it gives you/us the control, instead of walking into situations being like, I hope I do decent, like, and I'm not going to do it, and then kind of trying to rally in the moment and not doing as well. You're saying, next time I'm in a situation, this is what I'm going to do, or this qualifies and this doesn't qualify. So it gives you control. it also reduces that gray area. Instead of having to make a lot of decisions, you're telling yourself, well, my criteria is 1, 2, 3. This situation doesn't qualify. I'm okay to not give in because I know that the situation will come up again, and next time I will want to give in and I'll be okay about that. And the last thing is that it gives us a break. As I already mentioned, it's impossible to think that we were never gonna stray, that we're always gonna do things perfectly. So looking forward to an opportunity where you get to break your own rules is actually kind of like a, like a cheat day, like a hall pass for yourself. So if this is a situation that you find yourself in and you're like, I wish I was better at this, I wish I could handle it better, instead of feeling like every single time you do this one time, it feels like anything qualifies under just this one time, and you just like feel like you're easily persuaded, try this. Think about a situation that you find yourself in where this is an issue, and just find a few things. It doesn't have to be a lot of criteria, just a few things that you're like, this actually, I would feel pretty good if I kind of broke my own rules and this is what was happening. I would feel good about it, because you do need to give yourself a bit of a break, but you also don't want to give yourself too much leeway, because being all over the place can make it hard for you to come back. So take some time and think about that and see how far you get. Until next time, take care.